All tied up. Round 3 highlights from the John Deere Classic. The two golfers sharing the lead tonight, heading into the final round tomorrow. And perfect storm. The first hurricane of the season makes landfall. How it's packing a powerful and slow-moving punch.
Live from WQAD, this is News 8 at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for News 8 at 6. I'm Luke Clary. We begin tonight with a lot of movement on the leaderboard at the 2019 John Deere Classic today. Round 3 play is complete, setting the stage for final play tomorrow. News 8's Corey Kuffler is live at TPC Deere Run in Silvis, where there's a tie right now for the top spot. Hello, Corey.
Hey Luke, how are you? Yeah, it was hot and humid out on the golf course, but of course round 3 of the John Deere Classic is in the books, and it's called moving day for a reason. There are a lot of people moving up and down the leaderboard all day, and it got really tight at the end, just as you would expect here at the John Deere Classic. We're going to start with a couple of leaders. Two names at the top after 54 holes. On 2, it's Cameron Tringali with the 26-footer for Eagle. He would just miss that, but tap in for birdie. It was one of 7 birdies on the day for the 31-year-old. Then on 14, Tringali with another crack at an eagle, this time from 36 feet away. This one just misses as well, but a birdie is not a bad consolation prize. That gets him to 15 under. Tringali finishes at 16 under par. He's joined at the top by Andrew Landry, who posted a pair of 65s in round 1 and 2. Today on the par 3 16th, it's Landry with a great tee shot that ends up 16 feet from the cup. The 31-year-old would then step up, and he would drain a 16-footer for birdie. Landry fires around 367. He joins Tringali atop the leaderboard. Both are at 16 under par.
The golf course is playing beautiful. They've done such a great job setting it up. You never really see the John Deere play super firm and fast, and we're getting a lot of rollout in the fairways, which you know, it's hard to hit some of those tee shots because you kind of have to lay back like on 9, and but you know, I'm just driving the ball so well right now, and I'm just trying to hit driver as much as I can.
The bogey at the first was shot in the leg, just because you know you got to shoot a low round out here to stay in the mix, but was able to gather myself and birdie the next 2, which gave me some momentum, a little confidence. Kind of felt like I was on pace, if you will.
So let's take a look at that Lazy Boy leaderboard after 3 rounds out here at the John Deere Classic. And there you see Andrew Landry and Cameron Tringali tied at the top at 16 under par. Right behind them, tied for 3rd, is Bill Haas and Adam Schenk at 15 under par. And then Nick Watney and former John Deere Classic champ Ryan Moore right behind them at 14 under par. Zach Johnson, you may be wondering about, who just barely made the cut Friday, was off to a slow start in round 3 early this morning. The 2012 champ was +1 on the day when he made the turn. Zach then showing some life on 11. The Cedar Rapids native with a birdie putt from 28 feet away, and he would bury it, much to the delight of that big gallery. Zach would go on to birdie 3 of his last 5 holes of the day. He fires a round 369 to get him to 5 under for the tournament. That will keep him around for the final day here at the John Deere Classic.
Started to play a little bit better. I mean, you know, still a couple mishaps that I'll clean up, some shots that just are unacceptable, but the last 5 holes, execution was really good, really good, so trying to ride that for tomorrow.
Well, after calling it quits last year, the bridge toll is back here at the John Deere Classic. You may remember this lady, Mary Jean Ferguson, affectionately known as the Bridge Troll. For 15 years, she would control traffic on the bridge near the 15th fairway with her husband. But after he passed away, Mary Jean decided to stop volunteering altogether.
Some of the pros and the caddies that came through were wanting to know where she was, and we told her that she had decided this was not going to be her year to volunteer.
As soon as the players cross, then you can use the bridge.
As you can see, the Bridge Troll is back at her post. Coming up on the 19th hole, News 8's Elizabeth Wattis explains what motivated her to come back and how she is now using her job to honor her husband.
Now WQAD News 8's Shot of the Day, sponsored by Collision Repair Center.
Plenty of great shots here at Deer Run on Saturday. Let's head out to 8. Bud Cauley goes from the sand to the green and then eventually to the bottom of the cup. Cauley fires a round 368 to get to 11 under par. He's still hanging around as we get set for a crazy Sunday here at the John Deere Classic. So as we get ready for the John Deere Classic coming up on the 19th hole, we'll have plenty more as far as the leaders and who you need to watch if you plan on coming out here on Sunday, and some very interesting stories as well. But for now, Luke, let's head back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Corey. And you can really feel the uptick in humidity out there, really feeling it for Corey and the News 8 sports team and photographers out there at the John Deere Classic. But we're setting the stage now for what appears to be the hottest stretch of the summer so far, and Storm Track 8 meteorologist Andrew Stutzky is in the Weather Center with a first check of your forecast. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Luke, and yeah, it certainly looks like this is just a little bit of a preview of the kind of the deeper and more substantial heat that's going to be moving our way as we get into next week especially. It's been fairly quiet today despite the heat and humidity trying to bubble up a couple of storms. So far, though, the radar has been fairly quiet with the exception of those of you that are in Bureau County. Let's go right into that area just north of Princeton and north of Interstate 80, also south of Lamoille, right along US 34. We've got an isolated shower, a quick hitting downpour with that, perhaps a little bit of a rumble of thunder, but not expecting any severe weather out of this activity for today. It has been hot. It has been humid. You don't need me to tell you that if you've stepped outside. See, that dew point is now above 70, which gives us a feels like temperature of 98 degrees. Heading through the rest of the evening, still near 90 by 8 o'clock and staying in the 80s and upper 70s for much of the evening and overnight hours, with just a small chance of an isolated storm. However, I think most of us are going to stay dry. As Barry continues to work northward, it's really going to strengthen even more heat heading into next week. We'll time out when the heat index could push 110 degrees. It's coming up.
Right, thanks, Andrew. And right now, Tropical Storm Barry making landfall in Louisiana as we take a live look at the French Quarter in New Orleans. The storm bringing heavy rains and the potential for dangerous floods as it slams into the Gulf Coast. Conditions are expected to worsen. Barry was downgraded from a level 1 hurricane to a tropical storm as it made landfall, but authorities are warning people to be ready for the worst. Elizabeth Herr has our continuing coverage tonight.
Barry making landfall, slamming into the central Louisiana coast as a Category 1 hurricane.
I also want to caution everybody, this is just the beginning. I ask everyone to stay vigilant.
The storm now no longer a hurricane, but authorities warning it is on the move, still packing punishing winds and torrential downpours. Morgan City hard hit with Barry uprooting trees, damaging homes and property, and at its peak leaving the city totally in the dark.
The system's so fragile right now. Utility director made a decision just to shut the city down. So we're 100% out of electricity at this point.
In Terrebonne Parish, a levee there overtopped by the rising water. These horses now rescued after becoming stranded.
Saw how deep the water was on their, almost to their necks. The water's still rising, so we knew we had to get them out.
This levee in Myrtle Grove also overtopped, but according to officials, not a single levee along the Mississippi River has failed. In New Orleans, for the first time in history, all of the city's floodgates were closed ahead of the storm.
It's been cool. It's been a little breezy, a little spattering of rain yesterday, but not enough to mount to anything.
Some residents now breathing a sigh of relief, but the mayor stressing the danger isn't over yet.
We are not in any way out of the woods, and we will continue to reiterate this today, tonight, and into tomorrow.
Now, Barry is the first hurricane of the Atlantic season. Officials say that the storm could dump as much as 2 feet of rain in some areas. Right now, more than 120,000 homes are without power. Still ahead on News 8, rally against the raids. The demonstrations today, hours ahead of plans by federal agents to deport 2,000 illegal immigrants.